What is popping, y'all? It is Man Cloudboy Bales, and welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports Weekly. Obviously, a lot to go over because it's going to be an interesting season, let me tell you guys. Let me tell you. I'm excited because there's a lot of optimism. We know we made the playoffs last year under Jordan Love's first season. I said I was going to make this video soon. Here it is. Here's my predictions for how I think they will do this year. We'll see, but it's going to be interesting. Being a Packer fan's fun, but a lot of optimism. I'd say that this schedule is particularly a little difficult, but I think we just have to play like how we did in the second half of the season, and maybe that will give us another playoff opportunity. Furthermore, if you like what you see, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts, and let's get down to business. Next week, Friday, Packers take on the Philadelphia Eagles in Brazil. It's going to be a great game. Eagles obviously got Jalen Hurts, Salem, Saquon Barkley, and that absolutely unbelievable offense. And Packers are obviously the underdog in this game. Looking at it, I feel like we're going to get a great opening matchup to start off. It'll be a great game in Brazil. It'll be a great moment. I feel when I look at this, I feel like, everybody keeps talking about how great the Eagles are going to be, but no one's really giving any credit to the Packers in this matchup. And if I'm being completely honest, I feel like we're going to win this game. I think the Packers will actually beat the Eagles to start out the season. I think it's going to be a great game. I think everyone's anticipating the Eagles, they were on a bad streak to start, end last year, and I feel like it could continue a little bit. Now, I think the Eagles will do good this year, but I think the Packers are going to start this season out with a win. Very following week, Indianapolis Colts. I think this is a good home game to really start off with, a team that is going to be a good test at home. I feel like it'll be a close game, but I feel like the Packers edge this out. They go 2-0. Start the season pretty good. Very following game, Packers go into Tennessee, face the Titans. Titans are honestly one of the weakest. I feel like just because there's really unprovens with Tennessee, they're a very weak team. I feel like this is a team that we can beat, especially now that Derrick Henry isn't there anymore. Tennessee, I believe we should be able to beat them and start the season 3-0. I think that this should be a good start, 3-0. Okay, Vikings, Packers. Packers face the Vikings for the very first time. Obviously, we were expected to face J.J. McCarthy, but it looks like it'll be Sam Darnold unless they maybe sign someone else. And then Aaron Jones is a Viking. He's coming into Lambeau for the first time on a different team, unless he's injured. But that's not what you want to really see. It's going to be one of those games that I don't really want to have happen, and unfortunately, I don't know what it is about this game. I just do not see the Packers beating the Vikings for some reason. I think the Vikings hand the Packers their first loss week 4. I just feel like it's just going to be one of those games where, I don't know. I just don't know what it is. I think this is the Aaron Jones revenge game. Very following week, we're in LA for the very first time in like 6 years. That'll be good. Good contest, but I think the Rams are going to literally be like one of the best teams in all of football this year. I think they're going to be like legitly good. It'll be a great game, but I think Rams edge out the Packers. We go 3-2. A very following week, I'm gonna sit there and say, how do we kind of get past this? Cardinals, Packers, I feel like they should be a win. They're at home. I'm not really worried about this one. If it was a road game, I would be, but it's home, so I feel like Packers will defeat the Cardinals. Then we get a thriller of a game against the Texans at home. CJ Stroud, in my opinion, I think he's going to win the MVP this year. Texans have the most loaded offense in the entire league. They are going to be dominant this year. Packers, Texans. This will be a great game. At home especially, I say Packers actually get the win here. Very following week in Jacksonville, I think that Trevor Lawrence is going to have a comeback season. I don't know necessarily how they'll do playoff wise because I don't know how their defense is, but I think the Jaguars will beat the Packers. I just see it that way. Lions will host the Packers will host the Lions the very following week, beginning in November, and I see the Lions, who, in my opinion, I believe will win. They will have the best record in all of football this year. I think the Lions are going to be really dominant. I think the Lions will beat the Packers, and I just see it. I just kind of see that happening. Then the Packers at the Bears. This is going to be a very interesting matchup because the Bears are such a question mark. They have an offense that is actually capable to win them games. The only question is, can Caleb Williams produce? And I'm not sure. I thought last year, the Bears were actually going to finally come out of their shell, but it just was everything was just a failure last year, and that's why they moved on from Justin Fields. I am just so perplexed on what's going to actually happen here. But I say, crazy enough, I think the Packers. I think this is where the Bears finally beat us. I hate to beat. I said it last year, because I think I didn't think that we were going to be as good as we were last year. But I think the Bears. I think Caleb Williams is. I think he's going to be the real deal. That scares me enough to think about that. They're following 49ers versus the Packers. All right, this is going to be a tough one. Unfortunately, I think after seeing all the things happen, with the Packers and the 49ers, I think this is the game where we just kind of look at everything and then we beat them. I think we're going to beat the 49ers. I think, I hope we don't have to face them in the playoffs, but this is going to be a game where we're just so loud. It's going to have that same energy that we had against the Chiefs. I say the Packers edge out a close victory and beat the 49ers at home. Very following week, on Thanksgiving, the Packers will host the Miami Dolphins. I think they'll easily win this game because Miami always loses on prime time, so I'm not really worried about it because Tua turn the ball over will come to effect. Very following week, Packers will face the Lions. In Detroit, fortunately, Lions will beat the Packers. As I said, I think they're gonna they might only lose 1 or 2 games this year. That's how good I think the Lions are gonna be this year. I just see it. So then you look at that and it's like, okay, where are we now? We start the season 3-0, and then we lose the next 2. We're 3-2. Then we're 5-2. We lose the next 3. We're 5-5. Then we become 7-5, 7-6. All right, we got 4 games left. Then we got the Seahawks on the road, a place that we haven't won in some time. Unfortunately, I say Seattle does win this game. So then we're 7-7, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I honestly forgot where we were, but I'm saying 7-7, very reasonable. I think Seattle's going to give it hard, and I think this is where the Packers really, if they want to make that playoff push, they're going to have to do it at the end of the season. Packers host the Saints at home. Packers beat the Saints right before Christmas. I think the Vikings will be eliminated from playoffs by this point. Packers will go into Minnesota, defeat the Vikings. And then at home, the Packers and the Bears. Hopefully this is a playoff implicator. I think the Packers will beat the Bears, and they'll go 10-7. I just think, everyone's acting like we're going to be so good. But I feel like there's still so many unprovens. I feel like we're not quite there yet. But I think what will happen in the postseason is that we're actually going to have a postseason run. This is going to be very similar to what happened with our Super Bowl run. I think that we actually will face the Lions in the postseason, and I think that we will beat them out of revenge in Detroit. I think it's going to be a great game. That's a bold prediction, but honestly, that could not happen. Who knows if it'll happen or not. But you know what? It's Super Bowl or bust, guys. Jordan Love signed his contract extension. We're still, look at how good we were look at how good things were for us with all this future, and look how much we improved literally this offseason. The future's bright, guys. It's bright. All right, that's how I feel. 10-7. So if you like what you see, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts, and as always, we will see you next time. Go Pack, go!